Broadcasting live, this is the Handicappers Report, brought to you by the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany, and CapitalOTBBet.com, the premier online wagering site in New York State. CapitalOTBBet.com. Sign up today.
Welcome to the Saturday Handicappers Report. Brian Nadeau with you here. Opening weekend at Gulfstream Park, and really happy to have them back as a sponsor. It's the Claiming Crown on Saturday with 11 races. Really looking forward to that as well. So I'm going to get into that in a second. Seth Merrow will be on, and he's going to go through the big cigar mile card, like the last big day of New York for the year. The grade 1 cigar mile, several graded stakes as well. So really looking forward to that card too. But the one sheet will be back to battle here at Gulfstream Park at a huge Churchill Downs, a 230 ROI for the entire meet at Churchill. So hopefully we'll get it back up and running here with a big number at Gulfstream. We've got a long winter down here. Really looking forward to it. The opener, high noon on the Saturday card, $10,000 claimer, 3 and up. We're at on the Tapeta here at 1.70 mile. One sheet selections again, 10-2, 9-12, 3. We go outside a little bit with J-Hop, for Safi Joseph, Edgard Zayas, been in very good form. Got to the Tapeta last time at Gulfstream and really looked good. Stalking early, pouncing late, and kicking clear. J-Hop on top. Number two, Untread for Bobby DeBona off the claim. Paco Lopez is poised to have a big winter down here. He's going to get on a lot of live horses, take a lot of money as well. This one goes off the claim from Elizabeth Dobles. Bobby's 21% off the claim. I expect a good run here. Inclusive in the mix for Gerald Brooks. Now has Tapeta form at Presque Isle. How it transfers here at Gulfstream to be determined. But this is a sharp barn, about a 20% clip overall. And on the synthetics, I'll quickly mention number 12, Philo, as well. But let's call it in the opener, early pick 5 time, 10-2, 9-12, 3. Early pick 4 time in race 2, back to the main track for the first time today. It's a starter optional claimer here, 25's a tag, a 1X going 6 furlongs on the main track. 6-8-3-4 for me. A little bit of a price play on My Main Man. Goes to Mike Yates for the first time. You got to dig a little bit, but there's some good form here. Let's draw a line through the last. Had a trouble beginning. We'll draw a line through the run, 2 back, two turns on the Tapeta. Focus on those 1-turn races here at Gulfstream, and they were pretty sharp. Jaramillo's been bored every start, rides again today. Yates is a solid enough barn, had a good summer, just 1 for 4 with newcomers to the barn, but he knows what he's doing. I think this one's live at a nice number. Joe DiBaggio, the veteran, from the outside with Paco aboard, can come from off the pace, can press the pace, major player here. And then September 10, number 3 for Crichton, a solid barn here. Connections as well. Chantel Southern had a very strong summer in here. 6-8-3-4 for me in race 2. Race 3, the first of a plethora of starter stakes in the Claiming Crown here at Gulfstream. I love this day. The veterans get their due. The lunch pail horses get their due. We go 1 mile and a 16th here for 3 and up, 75,000 on the line. 2, 6, 5, 8 for me. Causalistic, a price play. I've got a few of them on the card today. There's a lot of speed in here. Causalistic down inside can save ground. I think can get a good trip here off the speed, can pass a lot of them late at a nice number. Certainly Blue Steel pressing with Paco is a major player. Freaked in the mud last time at Indiana Grand. Gets a live rider here, invading for a solid barn. Blue Steel, a big threat. Trapezoid, the house horse for Delgado and Chantel Southern, they're over 30% together. So take note of that combination. I think this one will have a say in here as well. And the old veteran, I saw him a lot last winter at Fairgrounds, Zanesville, comes in for George Leonard III, who made some friends with California Angel at Keeneland earlier this year and took her out to the Breeders' Cup. I think Zanesville can get a piece of this from off the pace too. I don't know if he can win though. Let's call this 2, 6, 5, 8 in the third. Race 4, another claiming calendar race. 90,000 on the line for fillies and mares. We go 5 furlong sprinting on the turf. And as Pete Aiello likes to say, and I think he predicted this on Twitter as well, who do you like here? It's that kind of race. I go 9-6-1-4. Paco on the morning line favorite. Painting Blues away. And I think the outside attack post in a tactical pressing speed here is a big coup. Paco on one of the favorites here. You could throw a dart at the board at who might be favored. I think it's up in the air. We'll draw a line through the yielding race last time at Laurel. A little class drop, I think, as well. Peyton and Blues away, a big threat from up close outside. Beat Town Baby. Look at the prices on this horse. Always gets bet. If you're a fan of this 5-year-old daughter of Artie Schiller, you're going to finally get a nice number today. Bean Town Baby is going to come from off the pace a little bit, but I think is going to be a threat in the lane. Strong Odor, another one coming from off the pace, is going to need to work out a trip from down inside. Mike Maker is going to have a big say on these Claiming Crown races today. This one fits snugly. Running Memories, the turf form here really strong. They took a shot at a big prize at Kentucky Downs last time. Didn't work out, but you look at those Monmouth races, and she is 3 for 4 here at Gulfstream as well. So she can play with a group like this. 9-6-1-4 in race 4. On to the 5th. It's another starter stakes. 75,000 on the line. 3 and up, we go 6 on the main track. This is arguably the most likely winner on the card. Kalu, big figures. Edwin Gonzalez, perfect outside attack post. And the 3rd and the DeFrancis Memorial is going to thump this crew if he can run back to it. 2 big runs in a row for Kent Sweezy, who have a good winter down here. Kalu at a short number. Here's your single to end that early pick. 5. Number 8, Ella's My Love. Number 3, Hero Tiger. Maybe they can lay back a little bit while Kalu probably fries the other speed, and they can make a run late. I like both of them underneath. I don't think anyone is going to be able to beat Kalu here. 5 over the 8-3. Race 6, yet again, another starter. Fillies and mares 3 and up here. 95,000 on the line. A mile and a 16th. We get back to the turf here. Haven't used the turf all summer down here at Gulfstream Park. So you're going to see a fresh turf course. Looking forward to that. There's a couple horses on the card that I'm really going to go price shopping and hope and keep my fingers crossed they run big. 3, 9, 8, 1. Passion Plus. You're going to see a lot of horses today that have been claimed specifically for this spot, the Claiming Crown. Elizabeth Dobles, 22% off the claim. She does it here with Passion Plus. Draw a line through the Tapeta races, okay? Look at the turf form here. Albeit for other barns, it's not far out of whoever you think are the top picks here. Passion Plus is going to be a big number. We draw well. There's plenty of speed in here. This one can make a late run. Let's hope she blows it up. Number 9, a much more likely one. Whimsical Muse. Number 8, a much more likely one. Sugar Fix. Both of them can press early, kick on late. I just wonder a little bit with outside posts chasing the speed, if just maybe they get back, they fry a little bit late and it sets it up for a closer. I took a big shot with Passion Plus. Kahiko down inside for Kent Sweezy and Paco Lopez. Paco probably put this one into the game early, so I wonder where she is late. Again, trying to price chance here. 3, 9, 8, 1 in the 6th. It will bring us to our first break here on the Handicappers Report. A big card at Gulfstream that we're halfway through. A big card at Naira, at Aqueduct. Seth will get to shortly. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Albany County, an incredible destination to live, work, and play, with easy connections to more than a dozen cities from our vibrant modern airport. It's a short trip downtown to a hive of culture and amusement, from world-class shows at the newly renovated Times Union Center to reliving the past at the New York State Museum. From outdoor recreation to shopping to nightlife, Albany County has something for everyone. We'll see you soon.
Capital OTB is now streaming live on Roku. The RTN Racing channel on Roku lets you watch OTB TV live through your Roku device or your Amazon Fire Stick, rather than being limited to computers and mobile devices, which means you can now watch OTB live wherever you are. Simply open Roku, scroll to find the RTN channel, then click on OTB TV. OTB TV on Roku. Try it now.
Welcome back to the Handicappers Report. Brian with you here at 11 race claiming crown card at Gulfstream Park on opening weekend. Seth coming up with the Monster Cigar Mile card at Aqueduct to Grade 1 there. Grade 2 stakes galore. Should be a lot of excitement, a lot of star powers. We kind of shut it down in the winter, the last big day of the year at Aqueduct. Late pick 5, though, in race 7 at Gulfstream. Take note of that noon post at Gulfstream as well. Another claiming crown race. 80,000 on the line. We go a 1-turn mile here for the fillies and mares. 9 over the 1-4. This is the one sheet's best bet of the day. Pretty Rachel. I mentioned Kent Sweezy several times already. He claims this one from De La Cerda for 6,500 off a romping win. Paco gets aboard, and I think this is your controlling speed here. There is other speed, but we know how aggressive Paco Lopez is early. I love that in him. He's a very, very strong finisher as well. And I think if this one gets loose early, she might not come back to him at what should be a decent price too. Pretty Rachel, the one sheet's best bet of the day. Number 1 down inside. Don't Get Cozy for Antonio Sano. Number 4, Traves. Also, both runners have shown a penchant for settling early, running by horses late. And I mentioned, I think Pretty Rachel is the controlling speed here, but I also think there's going to be some chasers. There's no doubt about that. And if the chasers come up wanting late, that puts number 1, Don't Get Cozy, and number 4, Travis, in the mix late at square prices to maybe complete a nice exacta, a nice trifecta. They lay back, they let the others do the dirty work, they run them down late. But the best bet of the day, number 9, Pretty Rachel. Late pick 4 time here in race 8. It's one of the features here. 3 and up, $90,000 on the line. Sprinting 5 on the turf. A tough race, a good race as well. And Belgrano all summer long, I follow the Monmouth circuit all summer long. Belgrano has been in great form. Long, short, they cut him back a little bit. Frank Russo has been in great form too. 35% predominantly at Monmouth Park. Ships this one down the interstate. A couple others came with Belgrano, but this one hits very, very hard from just off the pace. And I think Belgrano settling, like I said, slightly off the speed, kicks on off the far turn. One of the better plays of the day for me. Number 9, XY Speed, another in great, great form. Gerald Bennett claimed this one 2 back, won a Laurel Stakes. Paco is here. We're going to be chasing from the outside. I think that's the right spot too. XY Speed. You could argue that this is the horse to beat. Bad Beat Brian, number 2. Number 6, Mystery Messenger, number 6. Both of them are going to be coming from off the pace. Both of them are going to need a little hitting early. They'll get it, but I like the tactical speed of Belgrano and XY Jet, whereas Bad Beat Brian and number 6, Mystery Messenger, going to have to work out a trip. And in a big field, that can be a little problematic. We'll use them underneath. 7, 9, 2, 6, as I mentioned, late pick 4 time. The last pick 3 of the day in the 7th, 85,000 on the line here, 3 and up. We go 7. And that's kind of where we meet in the middle. Some of these 2-turn horses that have been going long, some of these 6-furlong horses that have been going short. Like I said, we'll meet at the middle. Looking at Roses is my long shot play of the day. Should be a big number in here. Guadalupe Preciado comes down from Laurel, from Parks, mid-Atlantic form. A lot of speed in here. And looking at Roses, cut back last time to this trip and ran it all down. And I'm hoping that he does it again in here at a 10-1 morning line. We should get every bit of this because there's a lot of different ways you can go in here. Looking at Roses at a price from Off the Pace. Miles Ahead is the more, I'll admit it, the more likely winner from Off the Pace. We've got Paco Eddie Plisa Jr. here, settled early last time, kind of got run off his feet last time, but still came running late, just missed. And I think Miles Ahead is a huge player in here from Off the Pace. Financial System and is the inside speed, and I respect the form. It has run very well of late. I just don't see anyone sussing this out as the inside speed and lasting late. I think that's what Financial System is going to have to do. I'm going to put this one underneath. You can kind of tell already I'm against the speed in here. That's how I'll play it with looking at Roses and Miles Ahead. Financial System, I think you have to use this one, maybe a B if you're playing the late 5 and 4. I'm just going to play against the speeds. I'm a G6 as a player from Off the Pace too. Saves all the ground down inside. Cut back last time to 7 furlongs, ran on well, was well behind Legal Deal in here, who's going to be pressing, dueling from the outside. I'm against that one. I'm a G6, gets a better flow today, but we'll go 10-8, 3-1 in race 9. Late double time in the features here. 125,000 on the line, the Claiming Crown Jewel. We go 9 furlongs on the main track, and that's very, very significant because no one in here has ever won at 9 furlongs. A 2-turn race at 9 furlongs. Glory of Florida. There is a lot of speed in here too. Glory of Florida is unknown at this trip, but you look at his form, and he's shown he can pass horses late. And I think that's significant because there's a ton of speed, and I don't trust any of it. Glory of Florida dialed in out of a mizzen mass mare. So 9 furlongs is a little tricky. Yes, dialed in won the Florida Derby. I'm not sold on his progeny going this long, but with a positive race flow, maybe Glory of Florida gets it done. Handle these Houdini, very, very interesting off the claim for Maker. Paco is here. Terrible post. You can't make up how bad this post is. And take note of this in general as we kick off this championship meet. 9 furlongs on the main track. You don't want to be outside. It's problematic. But I think Paco's got some tactical speed in here that'll be aggressive early. Put this one in position. Handle these high Houdini for Maker off the claim. We know Mike picked out a lot of horses to run on this card. This is one of them. There's some solid back form in here. I like Paco getting aboard. Another one that fits the flow. Don't sleep on this one. Should be a decent price too for Potent Connections. Number 7, 12-Volt Man for Safi and Edwin Gonzalez. I think it's interesting too. Let's cross out the Tapeta race last time. A game win, dueling on the lead at a 1-turn mile 2 back. Off the pace, maybe a little bit today, outside the speed as well. 12-Volt Man is interesting at a price. Hard Lightning down inside. Not a lot of speed here at all, but he's going to run on at a big price. Barbosa Jr., he's going to win a lot of races at the championship meet. You can tell. 5-10, 7-2. I am tossing all the speed. Let's try to upset this one with Glory of Florida. We'll wrap up the 11-race Claiming Crown card at 5:05 in the PM in race 11. 95 on the line in the Emerald here. 1 mile and a 16th on the turf. Another Maker claim. Down inside with a tentative. Number 3. He's got a couple in here. He's also got Last Zip, the 2. But I like a tentative from Off the Pace, been in very, very good form. Chantel Sutherland had a big, big summer, spring and summer here at Gulfstream. I think she can keep the momentum going here. We're at a nice price on a tentative call in a real scramble. Off the pace here too in a race with plenty of speed. Number 8, Max KO. There's a few horses in here with big figures. And let's draw a line through the Tapeta race last time. Look at the big buyers, the big thoroughgraphs on Max KO. I think this one hits hard here at a square price. Safi, Edgard Zayas. We can come from Off the Pace here too. Probably get first run on my top pick as well. Max KO, to me, one of the horses to beat. Number 5, Mandate. I don't know what you're going to get from Mandate because we go up to a different barn that's winless on the year. big figures here, 2 big wins. If he can keep it rolling, he's a huge threat at a square price. In the 4, Clear Vision off the claim, a romp last time. That was for DePrima up at Belmont. Now we go to the O'Connor barn. Going to be coming late. If he can reproduce that form, he's going to hit hard here too in the finale. 3-8-5-4 to wrap it up on the Claiming Crown card at Gulfstream Park. Say that real quick, would you, for me? 11 races on opening weekend. Can't wait to see it all unfold. It's going to do it here at Gulfstream. When we come back, Seth Merrow front and center on the huge Cigar Mile card at Naira at Aqueduct. Stay tuned.
The Capital Region has some of the most sophisticated horse racing fans in the country. That's why Capital OTB built the Clubhouse Racebook. Here you can wager year-round on the best horse racing from around the world. The Clubhouse also has monthly promotions including live bankrolls, handicapping contests, and so much more. Like sports? Watch your favorite teams on more than 30 screens in Legends Field Sports Grill. Food, sports, and the excitement of championship horse racing. Only at the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany.
Where's the best place to find your favorite teams, your favorite food, daily drink specials, and wagering on live horse racing? Legends Field Sports Bar, 711 Central Avenue, Albany. Get your game on day or night with 75 flat-screen TVs, tournament-style pool tables, a private banquet room, and live horse racing. So if someone asks you, where's the best sports bar in the Capital Region? Tell them Legends Field Sports Bar, inside the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany.
Welcome back to the Handicappers Report for Saturday, December 4th. December 4th? How can it be? The year has zipped on through. I guess the last 2 years we kind of want to zip through. Hopefully 2022 things brighten up a little bit. But there is some bright skies ahead on the racing scene on Saturday. Brian just went through opening weekend championship meet down at Gulfstream, which means Claiming Crown today. That should be fun. Our colleague Brian Nadeau also will be in the paddock. Paddock shows and whatnot down at Gulfstream during the championship meet. He kicked that off yesterday. It was fun to see him down there with Ron and Acacia. So he went through the Gulfstream card. I'm going to go through the Aqueduct card on this Saturday afternoon, and do have to alert you that there is a $729,000 triple carryover in the Pick 6 down in New York. And you would have to think they're going to slam this because it's Cigar Mile Day and triple carryover. It's going to balloon up significantly. So if you're a Pick 6 player, you may want to take a look at that. And it goes off in the 5th race, just looking at the post time 1:45 for the 5th race, which will kick off that Pick 6 today down at Aqueduct. And again, with the big carryover, $729,000, so keep that in mind. So again, Brian went over Gulfstream. I'm going to look at Aqueduct, top of the hour at 10 o'clock with the 2 nice cards that kick off to the championship meet, and the big Cigar Mile card at Aqueduct. We will talk a little bit more about that. We'll have Anthony Stabile join us from New York to give some thoughts on the stakes down at the Big A today. And then Ron Nicoletti will jump in as well, kind of give some ideas for this afternoon and preview the championship meet as well. So we'll talk a little more Aqueduct and Gulfstream. Again, top of the hour with racing across America. Speaking of Gulfstream, I want to thank our friends at Gulfstream for their sponsorship of some of the programming and events here at Capital OTB. As in previous years during the championship meet, they are sponsoring some of the programming and events during the championship meet. So again, thanks to our friends down at Gulfstream for their support. But again, big day at the Big A, and it will kick off at 11:50 today. So don't forget, it's one of those early posts, breakfast at Aqueduct, or brunch, I guess, at 11:50. And the opener today, maiden special, 2-year-olds going 7 furlongs in race number 1 at Aqueduct. I have it 1, 2, 7, and 3. I put script on top for Graham Motion. Big closing effort down at Laurel in the career debut just a few weeks ago. And this one has some nice win early type siblings. There was a sibling called Dazzling Chic that won its career debut, sibling called Leeway that won in the 3rd start, sibling called Traipson that won in the second and third start. So again, I thought there was some win early for the number one script. Almost lived up to it in the debut, but just couldn't quite get there after the big closing effort. But I'll put that one on top to maybe move through and start number two. Fenwick for Steve Asmussen is absolutely logical on the second time out for the Asmussen barn. Horses often move forward, show some improvement with that angle. Won't surprise me at all if Fenwick is in that group. And then I'll use a long term for Todd Pletcher and Rapoli. First-time starter with a little bit of breeding, steady string of workouts. And with that team, this horse likely to be well-meant first out. Speaking of teams that are likely to be well-meant first out, normally in this kind of situation, I would tilt towards the Chad Brown Klarovich runner. They paid $225,000 for this horse at Keeneland in 2019 by Classic Empire, who I think is becoming kind of a nice, interesting win early sire. But looking at the dams production, the siblings were kind of, I wasn't thrilled necessarily with the win early on the bottom side of that. But again, with these connections, I'm not going to leave the five out of the conversation at least. But in the opener at Aqueduct, 1, 2, 7, and 3. Race number 2 at Aqueduct, excuse me, and I pulled up, let me just see if I can refresh here. With the early start, I pulled up, and yeah, they are not listing any scratches or changes at this point. So, you know, if things do switch up and go to dirt, which I don't anticipate, there are dirt selections over on the website if you pick up the one sheet. But on the turf in race number 2, main special state breds, I have it 8, 2, 6, and 5. Number 8 is Sweet Lies. Sibling called Street of Dreams won in the second career start. There's a sibling called Donabella that was 7th in debut and then just missed in the second start. So I thought there was a little win early. Certainly Twirling Candy is a win early sire. This is another Grand Motion runner, so we're looking for a motion double to kick things off at Aqueduct today. This horse didn't show much in the debut, but again, I thought there was some win early breeding, so it might be one that will benefit from that first out education and move forward. And we should get a decent little price off the debut effort. But as I say, I think there's breeding to think that this horse has the potential to improve nicely with the experience under the belt. Robin and Eli just missed in the debut for Chad Brown, Michael Dubb and company. And off of that, you would think this horse will take a lot of action, and justifiably so with these connections and the near miss in the debut. She's a Natural goes out for Dave Donk. I thought the debut was another one of those where you can make the case, foundation to move forward from. It doesn't jump off the page, but it's enough to think it's sprinting. Maybe the horse will appreciate now the 2 turns. And I will say Regal Rebel, who I have down in the 4th spot, again, debut for this one, doesn't jump off the page, but there were some siblings that had a little bit of win early talent. So I thought, on the breeding, and again, the connections with Rob Atras, that horse was also intriguing at potentially a price. So playing around with some prices in here besides the Chad Brown horse, who again will take some action, justifiably take some action. But I think you maybe could play around a little exacta box in here and maybe get some value on some of the others. In the second at Aqueduct, 8, 2, 6, and 5. Race number 3 at Aqueduct on Saturday afternoon. I have it 8, 9, 1, and 5. I thought the 7 and the 10 were also kind of interesting. The 7 goes out for our friends at Bonaventure Stables. Certainly always like to root for the local connections. And Bonaventure with Competitive Saint has a horse that drops in for the tag. And I went back and forth on Competitive Saint, just left it outside of my mix. But I have it 8, 9, 1, and 5. I put Artemis City Limits on top. Decent third, 2 back, decent second last time. Numbers that stack up really well with this bunch. It's Mike Maker and Louis Saez, so I thought there was just enough to tilt in that direction. And again, what I think is a pretty competitive field. Cucina in the second spot. Comes in from Southern California for Mike Maker. Claimed 2 starts back. Followed that claim at Santa Anita with a race at Del Mar on Breeders' Cup weekend, and wound up running a good second. Now comes East. I think is going to be a snug fit with this bunch in here and should run very well. And then in the third spot, Guildsman. I'm going to draw a line through the last race. The two races just before that were decent numbers at least. They were in some stakes company. And I think that's closer to the talent this horse has as compared to the last race, which just overall looks like maybe a little bit of an aberration. So I'll look for that horse to bounce back under Irad Ortiz. In the third at Aqueduct, I have it 8, 9, 1, and 5. Race number 4 at Aqueduct is a plain vanilla $16,000 claimer. They will go the 1-turn mile. In the fourth at Aqueduct, I have it 9, 2, 4, and 6. I'll put Regal Quality on top for Rob Atras. Off the claim, been popular at the claim box. Well, we're looking at 3 claims in the last 4 starts. And this one is a claim back for Rob Atras, which I always like. Claim back for Rob Atras and the owners as well. And as I say, I always like that. They claimed the horse, 4 starts ago, had the horse claimed away from them 2 starts ago. They claimed the horse back. Horse is in good form for this trainer and owner. 2 starts back, won that one. Again, was claimed away from them, ran second. They claimed the horse back. I just like the whole scenario. I think Regal Quality player in here. Direct Order in the second slot, also coming off a claim. This one ran third behind Regal Quality last time, but I think overall fits nicely with this group. And Kumar in the third spot. Good third place finish last time. Good close-up third place finish last time, following a second place finish 2 back. They were against a little bit lesser, so I'm a little curious as to how this one will stack up class-wise with this bunch. But I just thought the top 2 just stand out a little bit, have a slight edge in this group. And then once I got past those 2, it became a little more wide open with one of those situations where you can go down the page and find best efforts from a few of these, which may even be better than the top 2. But I was looking for maybe a little bit of recent consistency, and I think at this competitive level, what we've seen from the last couple from Kumar fits okay. So again, in the fourth at Aqueduct, 9, 2, 4, and 6. Race number 5 will kick off that crazy triple carryover. It has been tough solving the puzzle at Aqueduct over this past week, and it's a triple carryover in the pick 6, $729,000 starts out the pool today. Pick 6 action in race 5. I think it's a really competitive way to start the event. I have it 6, 5, 8, and 3 in the 5th. I put Rosebug on top. I thought the horses this one finished behind in the first couple of starts may turn out to be okay. Gerrymander, I definitely think, but Caroni also could be a nice little runner. Debut effort was on the dirt. The follow-up was on the turf. Seemed to improve a little bit with the move to turf. First 2 were sprints. Now steps out to 2 turns. Again, it's just one of the whole scenario is just kind of intriguing to me. The Bill Mott runner, Rosebug on top. Hard Place, uncoupled entry mate to Rosebug. Also comes out of the Bill Mott barn, but as I say, uncoupled. So this will be the slightly longer price if the morning line holds. 3-1 on Rosebug, 7-2 on Hard Place. But I think what we saw from Hard Place in the career debut indicates if this horse came out of that with any kind of a benefit moving forward, should be very competitive with this group today. Third spot, I'll go with the first-time starter by Classic Empire. And as I said earlier, I think Classic Empire is kind of an interesting first outsider. Goes out for Shug McGahee and our friends at West Point Thoroughbreds and Company. Bought the horse for $300,000 a little earlier this year at OBS. The workouts look pretty good. I think with the breeding and whatnot, Empress at War could be intriguing in the debut and probably at a little bit of a price. Also debuting a Chad Brown Klarovich runner, market segmentation. I mentioned it earlier. I tend to go for these connections first time out of the box But as with the earlier one, the breeding just wasn't quite as intriguing to me, or wasn't intriguing enough to move this one up over a couple other horses that I thought were maybe a little more interesting today. All of that said, I will reiterate, I think this is a very competitive event. Graham Motion, I've used him in a couple of races earlier, and I think his number one horse in here is very playable. The Clement second-time starter Ever could make a case there. So tough way to start that pick six sequence, but we do it in race number 5 with the big carryover. I have it in the 5th race, 6, 5, 8, and 3. That'll take us to a break. We'll come back. We will continue our look at Aqueduct for this Saturday afternoon. The Handicappers Report continues. Stay tuned.
The Capital Region has some of the most sophisticated horse racing fans in the country. That's why Capital OTB built the Clubhouse Racebook. Here you can wager year-round on the best horse racing from around the world. The Clubhouse also has monthly promotions including live bankrolls, handicapping contests, and so much more. Like sports? Watch your favorite teams on more than 30 screens in Legends Field Sports Grill. Food, sports, and the excitement of championship horse racing. Only at the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany.
Where's the best place to find your favorite teams, your favorite food, daily drink specials, and wagering on live horse racing? Legends Field Sports Bar, 711 Central Avenue, Albany. Get your game on day or night with 75 flat-screen TVs, tournament-style pool tables, a private banquet room, and live horse racing. So if someone asks you, where's the best sports bar in the Capital Region? Tell them Legends Field Sports Bar, inside the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany.
The Breeders' Cup World Championships have given us some of horse racing's biggest thrills and biggest payouts, like the $2.7 million Pick 6 payout back in 2003. With a long list of betting options, it's never taken so little to win so much. So don't miss your chance to share in thoroughbred racing's richest event, the Breeders' Cup. And be sure to go to capitalotbbet.com to wager and win.
Welcome back to the Handicappers Report. Let's jump back in. Race number 6 at Aqueduct kicks off late pick 5 action. Maiden special 2-year-olds going 6 on the grass. And again, I just rechecked and there's no update on scratches or changes yet. But if things should change, turf to dirt, which again, I don't anticipate, but there are dirt selections over on the website, capitalotv.com. Click on the handicapping drop-down menu, and then the one sheet, the Handicappers Report. 6th race at Aqueduct, however, on the turf, 2, 6, 9, and 11. The 11 isn't also eligible. If that one doesn't make it in, pull a 10 into the mix. But number 2 is Fiery Heart. First time out of the box. Pletcher West Point runner attracted just under $500,000 at the March sale this year. I just thought, of the horses that have run, this is not a field of world beaters. This horse took a little action by outwork. Well, that's a little win early in him as a sire. Steady string of workouts. A couple are kind of intriguing. I'm not thrilled here, but I think this is the kind of race where you can go with a fresh face because those that have run have not been particularly stellar. So we'll tilt in that direction. Pletcher, West Point, Fiery Heart on top. Urban Forest goes out for Belmont and Godolphin. This one has fired a couple of decent efforts, a couple of thirds that bookend a disappointing finish, 2 back. Last time moved to the turf, moved to a turf sprint. It's a very similar race to this. Ran a decent little third with an okay number. So there's enough there, again, in a field where nobody is jumping off the page. There's enough there to think 3 starts, only 1 on the turf. There may still be some upside potential, and upside from what we saw last time puts this horse potentially right in the thick of things. So Urban Forest in the 2nd spot, and then King of Hollywood. The race 2 back was pretty good at Belmont. The follow-up at Aqueduct, maybe not so much so. So this one is a little bit inconsistent. That said, even the last race, on the numbers fired, it was not as good as the race 2 back, but it matches up with this bunch as, what we've seen so far. All of that said, this is another race where I can point to probably, I can point to two others that I used in my mix, the 11 and the 10. But Pepito for George Weaver, I think is eligible. Carpe's Dream, the number 5 horse, I think you can point to that one. Chuck-a-Moon for Mark Hennig is another fresh face. So yet another tough race. Will it be a 4-day carryover in the pick 6? But that's another tough race in the sequence. 6th at Aqueduct, 2, 6, 9, and 11. Again, if the 11 doesn't make it in, pull the 10 into the mix. Race number 7 at Aqueduct this afternoon. Kicking off stakes action on a big day, an all-stakes pick 4 to wind up the day, starting with the Go for Wand in race 7. I'll go 2, 7, 1, and 3. I'll put Lady Rocket on top. I don't think this horse is invincible. 8 to 5 on the morning line. I think this horse will take the action clearly. In good form for Brad Cox. Won a stake at Charlestown, 3 back. Was in the Gallant Bloom at Belmont, 2 back. And ran second to the very talented Bella Sophia. And then won a stake at Belmont, the Pumpkin Pie, last time. So a couple of wins, bookending a good second to Bella Sophia. So this horse is in good form, logical, and will take the action, probably justifiably so, but I don't think invincible necessarily. Sharp Star is the winner of this race last year. Came into the race in probably a little bit better form last year, at least on the numbers. That said, comes in off a state-bred stakes win this year, so I guess the form's pretty good. The number was a little bit better coming in last year, but I still think this horse is an absolute player in this group. If that's 7 to 2, it's going to be interesting to see how the odds do shake out. How much money will Lady Rocket take? Sharp Star, though, as I say, won this race last year at 6 to 5, 7 to 2 on the morning line. Now coming off of that win last time. Again, the number lighter than the horse came into the race last year, but I still think Sharp Star should take a little bit of money. I'm not sure we'll get that 7 to 2. Miss Marissa in the 3rd spot. I'm going to draw a line through the turn back the alarm last time. I think the horse is better than that, although there are 2 kind of duds in the last 3 starts. Otherwise, you look down the page, the horse is pretty good. Well, the Comely at the end of last year was also, I suppose, a little bit of a dud. So there is a little bit of an inconsistency in and out, but more so recently. On a best effort, though, Miss Marissa belongs in here. Bella Vita, coming in from the West Coast, is intriguing to me. Joel Rosario is named on my PPs, but do note, if you didn't catch up with the news yet, on Thursday, when one of Rosario's horses crossed the finish line, propped a little bit, dumped Rosario, and he wound up with a hairline rib fracture, so he'll be out for a few weeks. So there will be changes to note with the Rosario named horses this afternoon. Do make note of that. But again, Bella Vita could be a little bit intriguing as well. In the 7th, the Go for Wand at Aqueduct. I have a 2, 7, 1, and 3. Aqueduct's 8th race, the Remsen. Always a fun event for the 2-year-olds every year because we get to see them try the mile and an 1/8. And, how is that going to bode for next year and potentially a 1 1/4, first Saturday in May? We shall see. But in here, in this edition of the Remsen, I have it 1, 7, 4, and 2. I couldn't get past Mo Donegal off the nice win, the maiden breaker, when stretched to a 1 1/16 last time. Debuted going 6.5 at Belmont, ran an okay 3rd, followed it up on the stretch out, and won nicely with a pretty solid number as compared to this group. All of that said, it was a 1 1/16 at Belmont. That's 1 turn. So this is a different animal. The scenario this afternoon, the 9 furlongs, the 2 turns. I couldn't get past that nice debut win last time for Mo Donegal. So I'll tilt in that direction. Zandon goes out for Chad Brown. Also a good-looking debut winner. This one at 6 furlongs. We shall see. This one definitely gets a little more of a question with the stretch out to the 9 furlongs this afternoon. But off the debut effort, certainly belongs in the conversation. And From Another Mother, the number 4 horse, goes out for Ray Handel and has a lot of early speed. And just looking at the complexion of the rest of this field, might be scary on the front end. If From Another Mother gets out and goes around that first turn and has a little bit of daylight as they go into the backstretch and continues that down the backstretch, watch out. Speed pop scenario from Another Mother. makes that one kind of interesting and dangerous and potentially a little bit of a price. In the 8th at Aqueduct, the Remsen, 1, 7, 4, and 2. The Remsen for the 2-year-old boys, the Demoiselle for the 2-year-old girls. Race number 9 this afternoon, grade 2 event, $250,000 up for grabs. Again, 9 furlongs. I have it 5, 7, 6, and 3. Number 5 is Nest, goes out for Todd Pletcher. I did not use Misinterpret, a name that is kind of fun. I think you can draw a line through that Alcibiades. The off-the-turf P.D.G. Johnson was pretty good. The numbers were just a little bit light for Misinterpret. And I'm talking about a horse I didn't use in the mix, and the only reason I'm doing it is because if a Pletcher Saez runner with a nice stakes win 2 back lives up to that morning line, you get a double digits, 10-1. I wouldn't talk anybody off of Misinterpret, but I used the other Pletcher, the more logical one, Nest. Coming off a debut victory 2 starts back, and then a close-up third behind Gerrymander in the Tempted. The debut victory was at 1 1/16. The Tempted stepped back to the mile, now goes to the 1 1/8, and maybe the debut victory shows the longer the better. We'll find out more about Nest this afternoon, but I think what we've seen so far says this is potentially a nice little 2-year-old filly. Magic Circle actually finished in front of my top pick, Nest, last time, but this one has had more experience, and so I think the upside may be a little brighter for Nest. Although with only 3 starts, I don't discount that upside for Magic Circle necessarily. I just tilt slightly in favor of Nest. 3rd spot, Tap the Faith, goes out for Christoph Klemanov, a pretty good-looking mile victory in the debut effort. A little bit of breeding there. Certainly attracted some attention at the auction, costing $1.25 million, and lived up to it in the debut. Now gets the test to see, how that purchase price stacks up against Stakes Company, but certainly off the debut effort. Again, Tap the Faith, an intriguing runner in the Demoiselle as well. In the 9th at Aqueduct, the Demoiselle, 5, 7, 6, and 3. Aqueduct's 10th and final. It will go off at about 4:15, but it is worth the wait. It's the Cigar Mile, the last grade 1 in New York for the year. $750,000 up for grabs, and I think this is kind of a fun field in this year's edition of the Cigar Mile. I went 3, 7, 1, and 4. American Revolution gets the acid test today for China Horse Club, Winstar, Todd Pletcher. This is a New York bred, a super talented New York bred. Pennsylvania Derby ran 3rd. That was a little bit of a disappointment behind Hot Rod Charlie and Midnight Bourbon, but let's face it, those are a couple of the better 3-year-olds so far this year. And that was the first time stepping into Open Stakes Company. Horse had won a couple of New York bred stakes just prior to that, the New York Derby and the Albany. 3rd in the Pennsylvania Derby, then comes back to Belmont and tries the Empire Classic, facing older New York breds, and runs off and hides from that bunch. Does it with a 108 buyer. I'm going to use this horse, but again, given the fact that it ran 3rd in the Pennsylvania Derby last time against Open Stakes Company, it's going to be really intriguing to see what American Revolution does against this kind of open stake, older grade 1 Stakes Company, but boy, off of that last victory, just intrigued to see what this 3-year-old New York bred can do. And I think off of the last, I think you have to tilt in that direction. But Olympiad, I put that one in the 2nd spot at 10-1 on the morning line. This horse, 2 starts back with a 105 buyer, ran 2nd to Baby Yoda up at Saratoga, who freaked that day. I want to say it was a 114 buyer for Baby Yoda. That one hasn't lived up to that so far. However, Olympiad came back, won the next start down at Keeneland. Lightly raced, clearly has shown some talent and potential. I think the Belmont runner at a little bit of a price may be interesting in here today, although there are some seasoned stakes runners. So it's, again, acid test for American Revolution, the acid test for Olympiad. Following C in the 3rd spot for me, boy, the win in the Vosburg was just super impressive. Then ran an okay 3rd in the Breeders' Cup Sprint in the follow-up. now comes back here to New York, and I think, again, given what we saw a couple starts back in the Vosburg, that one's playable. And Code of Honor, off the last couple of starts, I wasn't quite sure what to do with Code of Honor, but Code of Honor, clearly, you look down the page, and if this horse can kind of hit stride and get back to a better effort, Code of Honor is very, very playable in here. Independence Hall, coming off the triple-digit buyer win down at Keeneland last time, is intriguing. Brad Cox brings in Plainsman, who had a triple-digit stakes win 2 starts back. Pipeline probably has to step it up a little bit, but it's Chad Brown, and just that, they decided to take a chance. Ginobili had 2 triple-digit buyers, 2 and 3 starts back. It's a fun, intriguing field. And again, a tough way to wind up your pick 6 sequence and feel like you're jumping in with much confidence. But for me, in the 10th and final at Aqueduct, the Cigar Mile, 3, 7, 1, and 4. And just before we wrap up, I'll hint you on a couple of more stakes on Saturday afternoon. Again, I'll be back in an hour and a half or so. At 10 o'clock, we will have Racing Across America. But about an hour and a half or so, 11:30-ish, we'll kick off OTB Live for Saturday afternoon. We will look at some Aqueduct, some Oaklawn, and some Gulfstream. Had a decent little opening day yesterday on the sheet with Oaklawn, and Oaklawn selections are on the handicapping sheet, the one sheet again today on the website. I did Aqueduct and Oaklawn. Brian Nadeau did Gulfstream, so you get a look at all 3 of those tracks if you print up the one sheet from the website. But again, I'll just give you a little hint at some of the other stakes action today. Brian went over the Claiming Crown card. I took a look, obviously, at Aqueduct and the 4 nice stakes there. But down at Oaklawn today, they have the Mistletoe. These are 3-year-old fillies going a mile and a 16th. I went 2, 9, 10, and 1. Oaklawn's 9th. I put Willful Woman on top. Has a nice record at Oaklawn. Had a layoff from May until November of this year. Got a little tightener at Churchill last time. I like the Churchill to Oaklawn move with Steve Asmussen with a horse that, again, has some good Oaklawn form. Willful Woman on top. Amendment 19 in the 2nd spot for Brad Cox. 5 starts, couple wins, couple seconds, and a 3rd. So this horse, very talented, also coming in off a nice a win at Churchill. So I like that venue move. And then Lovely Ride, Brett Calhoun runner, has some early speed, already a stakes winner, won at Parks back in August. So I think this horse, an interesting player as well. In the Oaklawn feature today, the Mistletoe, 2, 9, 10, and 1. And we'll give you a couple of quick thoughts on 2 stakes down at Tampa today. 2 nice, fun stakes at Tampa. 2-year-old fillies, 2-year-old males. 2-year-old fillies will face off sprinting in the Sandpiper at Tampa in the 7th. I went 1, 7, 2, and 5, Strategic Bird. Just interested to see what this runner can do. Florida bred that debuted middle of last month for Mark Casse over at Gulfstream against maiden special state breds and won super convincingly with a pretty good number for 2-year-olds this time of year and good number compared to this bunch. So just interested to see what Strategic Bird can do as they now test the waters with a horse that looks very talented. So Mark Casse, Strategic Bird on top. Dia del Sol in the 2nd spot. 15-1 on the morning line, but I thought this horse was making a nice progression in the first 3 starts. Broke the maiden last time at Parks going a mile. Now cuts back to the 6. Again, at a price, I think that 7 horse can be interesting. And coming in from Churchill, and again, I mentioned it at Oaklawn, I like the Churchill move. This time of year, I do like that Churchill move, particularly with 2-year-olds, because I think that late fall Churchill meet is very salty for 2-year-olds. So Divine Charger, the number 2 horse coming in from Churchill, very playable. In the 7th at Tampa, the Sandpiper, 1, 7, 2, and 5. And finally, race number 9 at Tampa is the inaugural. This is for the 2-year-old boys going 6. Really competitive event. I don't think there's any real standouts in here. Concrete Glory is going to take action. I tilted slightly in that direction. 10, 8, 7, and 1. I just couldn't get past the 2 big daylight wins. Was up at Thistledown 2 back and got it done in an allowance. then came down to Gulfstream and got it done, both really nicely. So I tilt in that direction. But I think Lightning Larry is playable, coming off some stakes tries over at Gulfstream last time, a nice second in one of those state-bred juvenile stakes races. And Old Town Road, 3 for 3 so far. The numbers are maybe a little bit light, but claimed out of the last one. Going to be interesting to see. Claimed away from Wesley Ward. You claim a horse like this and you do well in a stake, you've scored. So it's going to be interesting to see what Old Town Road does off the claim. In the 9th at Tampa, the inaugural 10, 8, 7, and 1. So there's a little bonus stakes coverage on this Saturday morning for Saturday afternoon. Oak Lawn and Tampa Stakes as well. So great stakes action really all over the place today. Don't forget, a couple of contests today here at OTB, one online, one here at the Racebook. There is the 100 online win-a-bet contest this afternoon. You can check out the website for more information on that, capitalotb.com. And if you'd like to come down to the Clubhouse Racebook today, you can take part in the match bet promotion. That all happens at 711 Central Avenue in Albany. Same spot that on Sundays you can catch all the football action, racing and football throughout the NFL season right here at the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue in Albany. All right, it's time for me to wrap it up, so that's what I'll do. Handicappers Report wrapping up, but again, top of the hour, we will kick off. Once again, a little abbreviated edition of Racing Across America, because with the 11:50 start at Aqueduct, they'll kick off their pregame at I think about 10:35 or so. So we'll try to wrap up by then. But we will be joined top of the hour by Anthony Stabile. He'll take a look at some of that New York action for us, and then a little after that, Ron Nicoletti from Gulfstream Park to kind of kick off the championship meet. All of that coming up shortly. But as I say, we wrap up the Handicappers Report. However, stay tuned. More action coming up. 10 a.m. for Racing Across America. See you then.
You're watching OTB TV, a service of Capital Off Track Betting.